You're watching Color 10 News at 10 in high definition.
Overnight storms threaten the Ozarks. Hello again, everybody. I'm David Oliver.
And I'm Ashley Ketz. Chief Meteorologist Jamie Warner is tracking the conditions in the Weather Lab. Jamie.
Well, the latest development is a new tornado watch replacing the old tornado watch that was in effect for much of the Ozarks north of the state line. Here it is right here. Extends from southwest Missouri all the way up to northeast Missouri. Includes cities like Joplin, Springfield, Lebanon, Lake Ozark. And this watch is in effect through 5 o'clock in the morning. What we're tracking, or what we're probably most worried about, aren't necessarily the storms that are in the area right now. It's these bowing lines that we have across northeast Oklahoma. You get signatures like that. These are moving fairly quickly toward the northeast, and it looks like they'll get into western Missouri probably very late tonight, maybe after midnight. And when you get systems like this, these little line segments which bow out, that's when you have to be concerned about high winds and wind damage, in addition to possibly isolated tornadoes. So that's what we'll be watching throughout the overnight hours and into the morning on Thursday. Putting this into motion for you, you can kind of see we've also seen an increase in activity back toward Highway 71. All of this, though, has remained below severe limits, although we have gotten some reports of small hail, had some dime-sized hail reports out of Neosho earlier tonight after 9 o'clock with some of the activity that moved through there. As far as timing, I think west of Highway 65, it's probably going to be through the early morning hours that we find that line moving in. Probably won't get into Springfield until maybe a little before sunrise on Thursday, and then spreading east of Springfield as we head through the morning into the afternoon. Temperatures getting a lot colder, a morning high of 63 with temperatures falling back into the 40s during the afternoon.
Tonight, new at 10, a minimum wage increase, not for all workers, just those at Hobby Lobby. Full-time employees there will now make $14 an hour, and Color 10's Kevin Schwaller visited the store to hear from a happy worker.
And President Obama says he wants to see the minimum wage boost to $9 an hour everywhere. Well, Hobby Lobby's part-time pay is already $9.50.
Are you finding everything okay today?
Tony Lutz not only helps customers here,
and the So Easy starter kit. I really want one of these also.
She makes wish lists.
We need $14.82. I was visiting this place about as often as I do now that I work here.
She's working at one of her favorite stores. And things just got better. Full-time employees such as Lutz are getting a $1 raise to a minimum of $14 an hour.
Hi, how are you guys?
And part-timers are getting 50 cents more each hour.
You just don't get that. You don't hear of that anywhere else, especially in this part of the country.
Let's look at this Hobby Lobby style here. The minimum wage now for a full-time employee, $14 an hour. Multiply that then by 40 hours in a week, 52 weeks a year, and you're looking at a minimum wage of $29,000 a year for a full-time worker.
I'm a single parent, so even more so the pressure of trying to find a job.
Lutz has 3 teenagers. She worked her way up at Hobby Lobby to her full-time gig. More than 3 years ago, she didn't have a job.
Got laid off 2 weeks after I closed on my house, actually. So I started working part-time at an Italian restaurant here in town, and that worked for a little while. Gifts today.
Shopper and teacher Debbie Futrell sees how lack of money hits families.
Rough to make a living on minimum wage is what I think. So I know that several of my students' families, and they struggle with minimum wage.
Now, Lutz has more money for her family.
Kids started eating a lot more.
To feed those hungry kids, maybe even cross a few things off.
Stewart scoring board.
That wish list. Now, according to the Christian news group Charisma News, this raise is for more than 17,000 employees. Again, $14 an hour for full-time, $9.50 for part-time. That's compared to $7.35 in Missouri and $7.25 nationwide.
A pretty good deal. Thanks, Kevin. Gold prices, meanwhile, have dropped almost 10% this week. That is the biggest decline since the 1980s. From a high of around $1,800 an ounce, gold is now around $1,400 an ounce. According to CNN, the decline is due to a slowing economic growth in China. A local business owner warns if you are maybe taking a risk if you plan to hold on to your gold in hopes of the price rising again.
No, you might wait too long. If you'd have said that a month ago, you'd have lost $400 an ounce.
Now, Leach believes the gold rush is over, but points out the lower price of gold is a good indicator of an improving economy.
An argument between roommates appears to be the cause of a man's shooting death today. Christian County deputies arrested a man this afternoon at a home on Belmont Court just north of Nixa. Christian County Sheriff Joey Kyle tells us 3 men in their 60s live in that home. and that 2 of them got into an argument over some theft accusations. Investigators believe one roommate shot the other. So far, no names have been released. And a Springfield standoff ended with 1 man arrested. This happened this afternoon near Blaine and Weller. Police tell us they're following up on a tip about a minor shooting. Now, the victim is okay, and investigators do not think the shooting was random. 3 people came out of the home there, and police arrested a man who had an outstanding warrant.
It could be another week before a judge decides whether 2 teens accused of murder should be tried as adults. Paul and Margaret Brooks were killed in February at a home on Trace Hollow Road in Stone County. Investigators say the 16 and 17-year-old boys suspected of the killings ran away from the Lives Under Construction Boys Ranch. Color 10's Laura Kennedy was in the courtroom for a hearing this afternoon.
The question today, whether the 2 teens qualify to have their juvenile charges thrown out and be tried for the murders in an adult court. The defense attorneys argued that the teens do not meet the burden to be taken out of the juvenile system. They brought up whether they've had the chance to be involved in a state-run rehab program. 2 law enforcement officers took the witness stand, 1 man, a detective on the case, who was at the scene of the crime on the night of the murders. He described the bloodstains in the house and what one of the suspects said to him that night.
He had asked why I was swabbing his hands. At that time, he turned around and was facing another detective that was taking pictures. The other detective, Detective Maggard, said it was checking for possible DNA, and he said at that time, why for? I already told you I killed him.
Judge Blankenship will take all the evidence and testimony into consideration. He is expected to make a decision on whether those teens will or will not be tried as adults next week. Reporting in Galena, Laura Kennedy.
Laura, thanks so much. Investigators tonight are focusing on at least 1 possible suspect in the Boston Marathon bombings. The FBI is trying to identify a man seen on some surveillance video. Now, the person who is described as a young white man was standing there in the crowd and appeared to be talking on a cell phone. Officials say he put a backpack on the ground carrying the second bomb. The man took off and the bomb exploded just a few seconds later. Tomorrow, a memorial service will be held to remember the 3 people who were killed and the more than 170 others who were injured.
Because I've been trying to collect my thoughts around what I might say tomorrow, whether, you know, how to talk about some of those moments without being intrusive.
We will carry that memorial service live here on Color 10 tomorrow at 10 a.m.
Background checks for gun buyers will not expand. Today, the Senate defeated a bipartisan plan that aimed to cut down on gun violence. The bill received 54 votes but needed 60 to pass. Most Senate Republicans, including Missouri's Roy Blunt, along with a small number of rural state Democrats like Arkansas's Mark Pryor, rejected the measure. President Obama called it a shameful day in Washington, but those voting no say this was about Second Amendment rights.
The gun lobby and its allies willfully lied about the bill.
Expanded background checks would not have prevented Newtown. Criminals do not submit to background checks.
A ban on high-capacity magazines also failed, but senators voted down an effort to loosen restrictions on concealed weapons carried across state lines.
Tonight, new at 10, Arkansas's Senate has passed a health care expansion plan. Tonight, senators voted 28-7 in favor of that bill, which the House easily passed yesterday. This bill is going to provide private health insurance for 250,000 low-income Arkansans rather than adding them to the government Medicaid rolls.
Crossword puzzles are not just for fun.
Yeah, the brain games are apparently beneficial to seniors.
If you don't keep your mind active and working on anything, puzzles, reading anything, you deteriorate much faster.
And tonight, the results of a new study comparing the benefits games and puzzles to prescription drugs, herbal remedies, and physical activity.
And if you would like to find us on Facebook, here's how you do that. Just first go to our website, ozarksfirst.com, find the icon, and then hit the like button. New at 10, unfortunately, memory loss comes with age. Mild cognitive impairment or severe memory loss affects about 10 to 20% of Americans over the age of 70.
Color 10 Justin Doherty found out that a study that shows the best way to prevent memory loss cannot be found in a medicine cabinet.
At 91 years young, Jackie Jenkins knows how to stay active.
As you get older, I don't get out as much.
Mentally.
I'm a believer of not sitting and looking at four walls. You got to do things.
To prevent memory loss, she does not take prescription drugs nor mental health B vitamins. Her secret?
See, I'm playing another one there.
Triaminos.
So those have to match. I think it keeps me from forgetting a lot of things.
In a recent study by Dr. Razan Naqvi at St. Michael's Hospital in Toronto, different strategies to prevent memory loss were compared between 32 randomized controlled trials, which in total included 25,000 patients.
The studies were all asking, does this drug work, or does this herbal product work, or does this exercise work? So we tried to put it all together and say, now let's compile all of these studies, put them together, and what can we conclude?
The study found that the best way to prevent memory loss, mental exercises.
One of the most interesting points was that some of the medications actually had harm and worsened your memory if you took them for any prolonged period of time.
While Sudokus and crosswords are offered in booklets and the daily newspaper, modern technology has made the popular brain games just a few word searches away.
I always have my phone with me, so I don't always have the newspaper with me. When I did get the newspaper, I really did enjoy the jumble and the crossword puzzle. But I also do crossword puzzles. You can get them on your phone, and I do those.
On the phone or in print, as long as it's a mental exercise, it's just what the doctor ordered.
Keep your brain active, whether it's crosswords, Sudoku, online games, whatever you want to do.
With Color 10 News, I'm Justin Doherty.
Can't believe Jackie's 91. Looking great there, Jackie. By the way, some of the most popular brain exercising apps on the cell phone these days are actually free and can be played with friends. Those types of apps include games such as Words with Friends and Hangman.
Well, Jamie Warner is going to be working his brain tonight in the weather lab. You're tracking some storms already.
Yeah, tracking some thunderstorms. Nothing severe right now in western Missouri, but a tornado watch is in effect. A new one through 5 o'clock in the morning for much of the area. And right now tracking the potential for that severe weather back in Oklahoma. This will move through in the area after midnight tonight. We'll take you hour by hour through that forecast for tonight and tomorrow and what to expect coming up.
And now weather with Color 10 News Chief Meteorologist Jamie Warner.
Well, so far, so good for most of the area through today and into this evening, but I do think the severe weather chances will be going up some later on tonight. Now, here's a look at temperatures. Certainly feels like severe weather out there. It's in the mid-70s. We saw a high today of 83 in Springfield. It was the warmest reading we've seen yet in 2013, and lots of spots saw highs today in the low 80s. South of that warm front, which surged from south to north across the area during the morning hours. Remember back to yesterday? Many locations never made it out of the 40s. Today, made it into the low 80s due to that warm front. Well, that boundary is still in place, especially stretching from northern Missouri and then across southeast Kansas into northeast sections of Oklahoma. We have seen one small round of severe weather already. This actually started up in Barton County, made its way across Cedar, St. Clair, and then parts of Benton, Morgan, and then eventually on off from there to the northeast. Really, it was all one storm, producing quarter to golf ball size hail along its path, at least at times. That's all we've seen really so far, severe weather-wise, but we are still under the gun. New tornado watch now in effect until 5 o'clock in the morning on Thursday. You can see it, how it's located right here, basically along and north of the I-44 corridor. And what we're really, I think, most concerned about, or what we're focusing our attention on right now, are these line segments that you see back across northeast Oklahoma. You see that one right there. There's another one right there. And these lines are going to be racing northeast. I was plotting it a little while ago. It looks like they're moving northeast at about 50 miles per hour. So it's still going to be a few hours before they make their way into western Missouri. But when they do arrive, there will be the potential of maybe some high winds with these lines of storms, in addition to the possibility of an isolated tornado threat as well. You might be wondering, well, with the warmth, why haven't we seen any severe weather so far, or at least across most of the Ozarks? There's been plenty of instability today, had increasing levels of shear, but oftentimes you have to have something to focus those storms on, whether it be at the surface or upstairs or in tandem, and that really has not been the case, and that's why we haven't seen any thunderstorms develop across most of the Ozarks throughout the day today and into the night tonight. Looks again like our storm chances will be going up as the cold front begins to surge in from the west, and it still looks like the greatest threat for severe weather will extend across Oklahoma, southeast Kansas, into western Missouri. So areas from Joplin northeast to Lake Ozark and west is probably where we have the greatest threat for severe weather as we head past midnight tonight. Thereafter, probably a broken line of thunderstorms will continue to make its way east toward Highway 65, towards Sunrise. There'll be a diminishing threat of severe weather, but still a threat of severe weather. That'll move past Highway 65 during the morning on Thursday, and then it'll encounter probably some daytime heating once it makes its way to about Highway 63. So we'll see an increasing threat of severe weather once again along the line from northeast Arkansas, southeast Missouri, and into Illinois. And this may clip areas like Shannon County and Oregon County. We can actually take you hour by hour through the next 24 hours. Storms generally in this location right now through midnight tonight, past midnight tonight. Notice we see one wave move through, another wave kind of comes in, but it doesn't really make its way past Highway 65, even through 7 o'clock in the morning. Then we move past 7 o'clock in the morning through lunchtime, and it looks like those showers and thunderstorms will make their way east. So there'll be that threat for severe weather in the morning, especially east of Highway 65, with an increasing threat for severe weather during the afternoon as that line of storms begins to exit the area. The other big story, rainfall could pick up 1 to 3 inches of rainfall over the next 24 hours. And the other big story is the chill in the wake of this front. We'll see a low tonight of about 63 in Springfield. That will be the morning high. Temperatures actually falling back in the 40s as we get into the afternoon. So a lot colder, down near freezing by Friday morning. Highs in the low 50s. That's it on Friday. And then a temperature down near freezing once again Saturday morning before temperatures moderate. Looks like a good weekend. Mostly sunny to partly cloudy skies and highs in the 60s with another storm coming through with some rain early next week.
It is nice to get this rain heading into summer.
Yeah, you know, and as we look at the rainfall total so far for the year, we're actually a little above normal, but not by much. So, you know, with the storms that we've seen, yeah, we've had to deal with snow at times and now severe weather at times, but we are getting the rain we need for the growing season.
Much needed, yes, unlike last year. All right. Thanks, Jamie.
Thanks, Jamie.
Line drive center field, going back over the head of John Jay.
Well, the Pittsburgh Pirates manhandled, I should say, the Cardinals tonight.
And Dan Lucy's got that coming up in sports. He's got highlights, plus the Royals' big win in Atlanta. That is next.
And now, the Chevy Dealer Sports Report with Dan Lucy.
Paul Lusk was hoping to add 2 more players to his Missouri State basketball team today, but he was only able to get one of them to sign on the dotted line. That was a 6'5" JUCO forward, Ron Mavikwa from Sheridan Junior College in Wyoming. The one that did not sign is this guy, 6'3" guard Manny Watkins from Fayetteville High School. Watkins verbaled yesterday to Missouri State where he would join his teammate Tyler McCullough, but Arkansas reportedly made a strong run at him, so Watkins has not signed yet. Guard is the son of Razorback assistant coach Melvin Watkins. He averaged 15 points a game for the Bulldogs. Now, Ron Mavikwa averaged 19 points and 8 rebounds a game at Sheraton JUCO in Wyoming. The Paris, France native was also the General's 3rd leading assist man from the forward position. Southwest Baptist Bearcats signed Kickapoo senior Chris Ward this afternoon. Ward helped the Kickapoo Chiefs win a district title and advance to the state Class 5 quarterfinals. The 6'5" forward averaged 15 points and 8 rebounds a game for Kickapoo. Ward earned 2nd team All-State honors. The big man developed his basketball skills late and decided that Division II Southwest Baptist would be the right spot to continue to improve his game.
Pitt State was looking at me, Central Missouri, and a lot of JUCOs, but I didn't really, I'd rather go to a university, so get my 4 years done. And then the SBU is just kind of close, but it's not in the city, and something I liked about it, my parents come see my family. And I got good vibes up there when I went up there, so kind of liked it.
The Pittsburgh Pirates are trying to chase down St. Louis in the National League Central. Mother Nature washed out an opportunity last night. Tonight, the Pirates did their own damage to the first-place Cardinals. Matt Adams making a return to his hometown area. It's 1-0 Pittsburgh, 4th inning. Matt Carpenter would ground this one towards second. Check out Neil Walker, diving stop out there, then over to first for the out. A.J. Burnett with his no-hitter still intact. Pittsburgh would add to its lead in the 6th inning. Neil Walker with the hit up the middle. Andrew McCutcheon comes in to score. It was 2-0. Shelby Miller went 6 innings for St. Louis, 6 strikeouts. Burnett had his no-hitter in the 7th until Carlos Beltran does this, shoots the gap in right center, a double that breaks up the no-no. Burnett would end up going 7 innings, giving up just that 1 hit with 8 strikeouts. More Buccos 8th inning. It's Gabby Sanchez, rips this shot to straightaway center, over John Jay's head to the wall. McCutcheon comes in to score. Pittsburgh shuts out St. Louis. The final 5-0. The Atlanta Braves trying to start a season with a 13-1 record for the first time since 1994. Standing in the way, Wade Davis and the Kansas City Royals. KC trying to bounce back from a late-inning loss to the Braves last night. Former Royal Bo Jackson throwing out the first pitch this afternoon. It was scoreless in the 4th inning when Jeff Francoeur would single to left. Alcides Escobar comes in to score to make it 1-0. Bottom of the 6th, B.J. Upton's liner here would hit Wade Davis right in the backside. Davis gets the ball and the out. No problems with his backside, no problems at all. He went 7 scoreless innings, 7 strikeouts. 7th inning, Chris Johnson pops this up behind first. Tries to get to it. He picks up the ball and throws out Juan Francisco, who was motoring home. He is out. Royals snapped that Atlanta winning streak 1-0. Drury Panther baseball team squared off with Missouri S&T this afternoon in a doubleheader over at Meadow Park. Scott Nasby's Panthers have won 8 of their last 10. 24-10 start to the season is the best in school history. Picking up the action, first game, 2-0 Drury, 4th inning. Panthers had Kevin Sweeney on the hill, and he would strike out Reed Brown right here swinging. Drury would add to its lead in the bottom half. Spencer Wilmus doubles to right center. That would score Brett Neal to make it a 3-0 Drury lead. Sweeney was cruising in game 1. He would strike out Sam Adams swinging right here. Drury wins game 1, 3-0, and then the Panthers also take the nightcap 15-4. So good to have the Drury baseball team playing as well as the basketball team was doing.
All good for us. Thanks, Dan.
And we'll be right back.
Here are tonight's winning lottery numbers. Color 10 News will continue in a moment.
Well, there are already some watches out tonight, Jamie.
Yeah, we've actually been on our tornado watch for much of the day today. There's a new one that's been issued for much of the year, including Springfield through 5 o'clock in the morning, and I wouldn't be surprised if that doesn't get extended beyond 5 o'clock for more parts of the Ozarks. Right now, watching a broken line of thunderstorms, especially in Oklahoma, and I think that's where most of our severe weather could come from later tonight. High winds will be the primary threat.
Keep it tuned to Color 10 and, of course, OzarksFirst.com. Thanks for watching. We'll see you tomorrow.
Good night.